Welcome to the RSP Boiler Room. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. Today's episode is on Stanford quarterback Kevin Hogan. Now, when looking at Hogan in context of the 2016 draft class, he's the ugly duckling of this group. This 2016 class, in comparison to the 2015 group, doesn't have the headliners like Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, and I would argue even Brett Hundley, who I thought was underrated and will develop into a strong quarterback of that group. But this 2016 class has some guys who could develop a la Brett Hundley, but you don't have that Mariota Winston type who is going to get on the field right away and most likely produce at a level that's going to inspire confidence in them as straight up franchise quarterbacks. Despite the promise of this 2016 group that will need, 1 to 3, maybe 4 years for some of them to develop, Kevin Hogan is a player that a lot of the media and scouts online are talking about him as a developmental player. And I think that's code for never going to be more than a backup in the NFL. I think that's premature because from what I'm seeing of Hogan thus far, there are some skills to his game that actually look better or as good or better as some of the, more heralded prospects of this 2016 group, as well as some of the prospects that I just mentioned in the 2015 group. He does some really nice things. I'm going to show that, show this USC game as an example. I'm going to show you 6 plays from this game that I think are quality skills that if you give him more work on the fundamentals that he needs, he can really develop into something that may surprise people. So we're going to watch this first play, and this is a great example of him climbing the pocket, being willing to throw into the teeth of pressure and hit his receiver into a tight zone with excellent ball placement. So there's a 3rd and 4. Stanford is down 7-0 already. We're going to see him drop back here, climb the pocket, and then fire it into the zone. And that was a little cloudy to see, but we're going to watch it from a different angle. Watch him 5-step drop. He's looking to the far right side. He hitches twice, climbing up the middle here, and this inside pressure is coming. And he feels that. And you watch him get rid of that ball just as he's getting hit. And he fires it into the zone, which is a fairly tight zone, hitting his receiver only in a spot where he's going to be able to catch the ball. Again, really nice placement here. Not too high, not too far in any direction. Takes the hit as well. Now when we take a look at his mechanics, you're going to see a couple of flaws here. Got that 5-step drop. His feet tend to be a little wide when he sets up. Now he's hitching a little bit more, and then when he throws the ball, I would say has an exaggerated windup. It's not one like Andre Woodson of Kentucky or Byron Leftwich, which has that huge windmill. He has a very quick release, Hogan does, but it's a little bit exaggerated, and it looks a little awkward, but he's able to get the ball off and throw really with nice accuracy, nice tight spiral, right where it needs to go. So definitely a nice play. The next play that we're going to look at here, that we're going to continue to see placement, and we're going to see him actually show some vertical accuracy from the opposite hash, no less. 3-step drop, again a little bit of a wide pitcher's type of plant or step through. But he's throwing from the opposite hash and hits his man in stride here in very tight coverage. Now, in the NFL, this might have been an incomplete pass because he maybe could have led the receiver a little bit more. But when you're looking at a throw that covers 41 yards from pitch to catch point, the opposite hash, with good trajectory and just enough velocity to keep the man running in stride, you have to take that seriously that, Hogan's got a decent arm here, even with some of the mechanical stuff that we're talking about. The accuracy's on point, the anticipation's there, It, this is just a little bit of what I've seen. We're going to see a little bit more here that's, I would say, is even more impressive than just hitting a go route up this seam. And this comes later in the first half. We're going to watch this play where he's at the right hash at the 25 of USC. And we're going to see this combination route where he's going to see this outside receiver run a sail route to the left. And just watch this throw. Between two defenders, gives the receiver a chance to high point the ball. Now this isn't really him throwing into double coverage. What you're going to find here is when you look at the result from this angle, it looks like he's thrown it into double coverage and it seems like a questionable decision. But again, it's a really nice placement where only his tall receiver is able to high point it, make the catch. But let's look at it from the second angle that the broadcast crew shows after the play. And you're going to see the context of this play a little bit more. And you'll see where anticipation comes into play because you have high-low defensive backs. You have the low defensive back covering the slot man. And watch where, as this receiver that Hogan's going to target just begins to make his break at the top of his stem, Hogan delivers the ball early enough that with the safety, and I actually messed this up. We'll look at it one more time here so that I don't confuse anybody. Here we go. It's not this cornerback, but we're looking at, we got this defensive back who's the deep defensive back, and then you have the safety. And Hogan throws the ball just in enough time so that he's able to get it to the break spot so that the safety's able to make this catch. And that is some decent anticipation. And it's also an aggressiveness that I like out of quarterbacks. It shows that he trusts his athletes to do what they do best. The reason why teams covet tall receivers is for just this reason. If you're not going to use a player this way, then you're probably not scheming well, and you're probably not also doing your job as a quarterback, not to give your receiver a chance to make some of these high point plays. It may seem risky on one level, but it's something that this type of aggressive downfield attack, throwing it where the receiver is, at his best, and certainly rebounding the ball and high pointing it is a perfect example of that. So I like the fact that Kevin Hogan trusts his players and is willing to attack on that manner. So what we've seen thus far, low ball placement where it needs to be in between zones, being able to hit a zone where he throws it high and lets his man go up and get it, being able to take a hit, also just throwing it downfield and leading his man enough in tight coverage to win it and being decisive on a go route. So looking at the next play, and I believe this one we're going to see here is an example of some of his pocket presence and maneuverability. You watch him climb away from the pressure coming from the backside. He feels the pressure from the right. And then you're going to see some speed here because we're going to see an angle where the linebacker has a nice angle on Hogan to stop this play. And look at Hogan show just enough burst to get the corner on this linebacker and get a couple more yards past the boundary. This is a pretty athletic play for a guy who to me looks a little ungainly, especially when you got that big knee brace on. Sometimes you can look at that and see with the way that he moves and drops. And you may not realize just how quick he really is. Again, that's impressive that he can beat, one of USC's linebackers like that on that angle. And I just like that he's, even the ball protection, even though it's a little bit loose there, he's holding it under the sideline arm. I've seen him hold it a little tighter. This is one where he was a little too loose with it, but still really nice stuff. And then here's this last play that was impressive. It's the next play. 16 seconds left in the half. Trip set. And he fires that in there. Nice anticipation. Just over the zone. Just over that linebacker. I don't know, there's a little bit of touch to that. I think he has some issues with some of his short throws when it comes to touch. But on this intermediate throw, he puts it right where it needs to be. And then he fires it in for the touchdown. Really nice drive. Really nice drive. So Kevin Hogan, when you look at what he has to offer, you're looking at pocket presence, the ability to throw the ball into pressure, in the face of pressure coming at him, pinpoint accuracy at times, placement where only his receiver's going to be able to make the catch, anticipation, and the willingness to take chances in a way where he uses the strength of his teammates. And to me, these are really fascinating, more advanced types of traits that you want from a quarterback. So if you're going to think about a player developing and getting better at his craft, the things that I'd rather see him have to work on would be drops, release point, taking snaps from center. These are minor things to me compared to decision making, accuracy, working through and around pressure, having the speed to be able to get outside and run. You're not going to be able to develop those things as well as you can develop some of these fundamentals through drilling. So keep an eye on Kevin Hogan. I'm not telling you that this guy's going to be a stud in the NFL, but I am telling you that if he lands with the right team and he can gain a foothold and just continue to work, he might surprise people down the line as a much better quarterback than what was anticipated from him this time right now in 2015. Thanks again for listening. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. You can catch more RSP boiler rooms at www.mattwaldmanrsp.com or my YouTube channel, the RSP Film Room.